It is the work and indeed the tradition of this channel to alert subscribers as to what's coming. And indeed last year and early this year, we talked about an economic crisis in the country called Kenya, unprecedented and never before seen on these shores. Now, of course, it is not in us to predict disaster, and then when it actually unfolds, we celebrate. No, that's not what we are about. And that is why, if you remember, when we told you about this economic crisis, we also suggested what you can do. The long and short of it is to stay positive so that you can take full advantage of the inevitable opportunities that come out of any chaos, and especially an economic chaos such as the one Kenya is about to enter. Now, according to well-known economist David Ndii, who predicted this situation such a long time ago, and kept on talking about it through the electioneering period, and people were just looking at him and saying, "Huyu mtu anasa anasema nini?" Anyway, these words have come to pass, and the situation, I'm afraid, is a lot worse than most people realize. Now, one of the things that Ndii has been repeatedly saying is that we're in this situation because of irresponsible spending. That's really the long and short of what he's saying. Overborrowing to spend on huge infrastructural projects that are not really viable or cannot bring us the kind of return that would make paying back that loan comfortable. Now, no matter how responsible you are, you cannot just do things knowing the consequences and not caring, especially if it will affect even you. Indeed, it will affect you more than many people. Because the truth is, the people in government who are responsible for this overspending, or who are responsible for not stopping it, are the ones who've been having sleepless nights long before we even knew what's happening. So the big question on the minds of many Kenyans, at least those who can look into this issue without emotions and without feelings and without party affiliations, the big question on their minds is, didn't these people see this coming? Well, they obviously didn't, and I'll tell you why. Now, let me just give a hypothetical example. You take a loan out of a bank, a huge loan, but then you have reason to believe that you're going to pay it back. Why? Because you've put 10 brand new matatus on the road, and the kind of cash they're giving on a daily basis makes you very sure. But then a number of factors kick in. The matatus, most of them are involved in accidents. The others, the driver steals from you. So you end up in a situation whereby you're having a prosperous business, good cash flow daily, which suddenly stops. And then the apartments that you're putting up, by the time they're complete, you can't find people to move in. Right next to your apartments, there's some Chinese people who put up also the apartments. And they started building 6 months after it started building. But then these are the Chinese. They completed the apartments in record time. Even before you finished yours, and yet they started after you started. The long and short of it is that you're not getting any income from your apartments, what you borrowed the money to put up. Which means you're in a very serious financial mess. Now, the government leveraged future oil income on the overspending that was going on. They also believed that the economy would grow very fast. Now, a number of unforeseen factors like politics, drought, etc., kicked in and completely frustrated hii mahesabu ambayo mtu alikuwa amepiga. Translation, unforeseen factors, affected these careful sums somebody had written down and done. But bottom line, it was a huge, reckless risk. Some would say what drove forward this risk, or drove forward the decision to take this reckless risk, was corruption. Because the big infrastructural projects had a lot of cash coming in and a lot of opportunities to skim off the top of this cash. Anyway, the truth is that all that is water under the bridge now, because what we have to focus on is what we should expect and what we can do to prepare ourselves, to brace ourselves for what will surely come. And we shall look at that very deeply immediately after the short upcoming commercial break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, when an individual is involved in the situation where our dear country Kenya is in right now, what happens is that they get auctioned. Auctioneers raid your house and take away everything. Now, it's very interesting, before the person is auctioned, nobody has a clue. They're still driving their big, huge, fuel-guzzling car, and you may meet them at the local duka buying credit for 1,000 shillings, buying airtime for 1,000 shillings. And you say to yourself, I never afford more than 100 shillings. This guy is buying airtime for 1,000. This is a rich guy. He's doing well. Well, if one looks at the Kenya government with the same level of naivety, you'll come to the same conclusion. Chris doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no problem. The government can handle this. How is it possible for the government of Kenya to be broke? Impossible. Well, we have already started to see the telltale signs, and top on the list is the insistence, of implementing the extra tax on fuel and petroleum products. Now, it is very sad, but it is true, that the fastest way for a government to raise money is through taxes, extra taxes, on the poor, the vast majority in the country. That is where most of the money is circulating, Rich people have fixed accounts abroad mostly. But tens of millions of citizens spending cash every day is an easy target. And this is exactly what is unfolding in Kenya. And looking into the future, or the immediate future ahead of us, this will go on. And this will definitely cause turmoil, and chaos and protests among the poor. So we should expect a lot of price hikes right across the board, on popular consumer products, especially essentials. And this, in the end, will affect everybody in the country, even business owners, Every business needs to readjust to the new realities that are coming. Now, the biggest customer and the biggest spender in our economy is the government. The government is responsible for the existence and the prosperity of very many companies. So you know what it means if a government is broke and can't pay anymore. Yeah, companies will shut down. There'll be layoffs. Yeah, which will make the situation even worse. Now, unfortunately, all these are not theories. What is about to happen in Kenya is unstoppable. Why? Because an individual can get a huge loan from somewhere, yeah, and solve all their problems. However, unfortunately, the kinds of money we owe, the deep debt hole the country is in right now, yeah, we cannot be bailed out by anybody in the world. What is coming to Kenya and cannot be stopped is the Great Depression of Kenya. But stay positive, my friends, yeah, because what could come out of it is a lot of good things. Number one, the long-awaited, long-desired political change in Kenya. And by political change, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm not talking about replacing individuals with other individuals. I'm talking about replacing our entire political system with a brand new system. Remember the prophetic word? Change shall come to Kenya, yeah, not when you expect it and not how you expect it. And nobody expected political change to come in Kenya courtesy of the economy. Nobody. And then for individuals, there are great opportunities, huge opportunities coming up, because there are going to be huge problems, and problems are equals to opportunity. Now, the books we've been promoting on this channel, of course, talk a lot about that, so I shall not dwell on that here. But I don't want to be misunderstood. We should be very positive. We should look on the bright side, yeah, and stay positive at all times. However, what is coming, folks, is going to be very painful. So many people out of a job, they can't feed their families. What do you expect? Crime will spiral, yeah? And by the way, that's a business opportunity. So what do? You may have a very comfortable job right now. You don't have any problem. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's going to catch up with all of us sooner rather than later. So what do? By the holding on to assets will not be very clever, yeah? Because the price and the value of those assets is going to fall dramatically. Somebody's in deep financial problems. Therefore, they decide to sell the assets. And they can't get any buyers at a certain price. So they reduce their price. Still no buyers. And then they still have to reduce their price further down until they can get a buyer. Yeah, that will cover at least the emergency. So if you have cash, wait to buy, yeah, at bottom low prices. Others holding on to the assets which you had before the Great Depression, that's going to be a tall order. As an individual, you need to invest in the future, in the immediate future. Yeah, so you need to make investments or into business that you can do, businesses that are recession-proof, businesses that will cash in on the hard times. Yeah, keeping the money in a bank will not help you, because the value of that currency is also going to depreciate very fast at some juncture. So find something to invest in that will generate cash for you in the chaos. That is really what it is. Now I can hear a few people who are very comfortable saying, we don't want that change. Hata afadhali that change should not have come. It is better that change would never have come and things would have remained the way they were before. Things should have just remained comfortable. Who cares about the politics? Well, unfortunately, it is too late now. Way too late. What is going to happen, as I've said earlier, is unstoppable. So you and I have no option but to plan for the future. The immediate future. At least with a plan, you'll be much better off than the people who are just waiting for things to get better. Now, from today on this channel, we will promote ways of preparing for the future. Yeah, ways of getting through hard times. Yeah, in the comment area, in videos, let us share all the ideas we have. Let us lean on each other to get through the coming storm. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.